This morning we are going to be doing an activity that involves using white mittens. Now, I'm also going to be reading a book to you called The Mitten. It is written by Jan Brett. Once there was a boy named Nicky. He wanted mittens as white as snow. If you drop a white mitten in the snow, it will be hard to find, his grandmother told him. This is his grandmother. But Nicky wanted snow white mittens so much that Bubba made them for him. Her name is Bubba, and this is her house where she lives. When she finished knitting the mittens, Nicky put on the mittens and went out to play. It wasn't long before one mitten fell off. He lost the mittens in the forest. A little mole found it and crawled inside. It was just the right size, so he decided to stay. A mole lives in a tunnel in the ground, so he ventured out and made his way into the mitten. A rabbit came hopping by. He wiggled next to the mole. A rabbit lives in a hollow log for the winter, and he hops and hops and hops his way into the mitten. A hedgehog wanted to get warm. The mole and the rabbit made room for him. A hedgehog lives in a burrow. They dig their way down through into the burrow and stay warm. He ventured his way over to the mitten and crawled inside beside the other animals. The owl didn't want to be left out, so the mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog had to move over. The little mitten was getting crowded. The owl lives in a tree, and he flew all the way over to the mitten and pushed himself inside. A badger looked out of his house and saw the mitten. He climbed right inside. A badger lives in a big hole in a tree, and he ventured his way out and climbed and pushed his way into the mitten. It started to snow, so a fox pushed his way in and made himself right at home. A fox lives in a den for the winter, and it started snowing, so he worked his way over to the mitten and climbed inside with the rest of the animals. Then a big bear sniffed at the mitten. The animals were packed in tight, but the bear didn't care. He crawled in anyway. The mitten was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. A bear lives in a cave on top of a hill. He ventured his way over, and he pushed, and he shoved, and he squirmed, and he wiggled his way into that mitten. Then a tiny mouse squeezed in and perched herself on the big bear's nose. The mouse lives in a little tree stump on top of the hill next to the bear. She walked her way over through the thick snow, climbed into the mitten, and sat on the bear's nose. The mouse's whiskers tickled the bear's nose. Ah, 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 chew, the bear sneezed, and all the animals flew out of the mitten. Nicky saw the mitten sail up in the air. From the window, Bubba watched Nicky catch his mitten. "See, Bubba," he called to her, "I have both mittens." And Bubba smiled. The end.